Hi, and welcome to Link4Growth's National Update. I'm Carol Dodsley, and I have with me Chris Ogle. Chris, say hello.
Yeah, hi Carol, good afternoon.
Hi, how are you, Chris? It seems like ages since we did one of these shows.
Well, it's a month and a day, I think. But yeah, I mean, well, yeah, whatever happened, we were things conspired against us yesterday, so I was out busy visiting other things that people in the network are doing, which is I'm doing, seem to be a lot more of that of late. But it's good to get out and support them wherever they are. So I didn't get back till late, and then all hell let loose. So here we are today on a Sunday instead.
Exactly. It doesn't really matter what days, because the great thing is that all of our shows are recorded, so even if people are not around on the day that it's live, they can come back and they can watch it any other time. So,
Yeah.
so let's get started and tell us about national launches.
Right. I mean, when we were doing this weekly, it seemed a little bit easier, but there's a lot happen in a month in Link4Growth. Um, so going back a month, we had launches all over the place, actually, up in the north. So we had things happening in Gosforth, Tyne Wear. We had a launch in Derby with Lisa, Penrith with Jenny. We've had things happening in sort of just outside London in Stevenage. We've also had Bradford and Halifax last week, in fact, which was great. There's been launches of lunches in London, new events in the Midlands, in Rugby. A Spalding event got relaunched. So there's been a lot going on, and I've kind of got my ears out there detecting what new events are coming up, and there are so many events that are being scheduled at the moment. It's just amazing. I think we're running at the moment at about 85 a month, but I suspect that before Christmas we'll be well over the 100. So.
Yeah, lots and lots happening, so much happening that it's almost impossible now to keep up with every single one in detail. But I know you still spend a lot of time traveling around and going to some of these. Are there any actual events of note, any specific ones that you want to talk about? You can't talk about them all because there's too many, but any in particular?
Well, yeah, I mean, the one up in that I went to, well, in fact you went to as well, up in it was a long way north, up in Newcastle. That was an enjoyable event, and we had some interesting characters there from the Zeitgeist movement, which proved to be quite an interesting evening. So that was it's a while since I've been up there. I think I've been to Newcastle just a few times, so it was quite nice to go up there and catch up with what's going on up there. And Dee's doing a great job up there, so that was a good event. And then I was with Damien at Halifax last week, and that was a really interesting event in a barber's shop. Now, you would probably think to yourself, what on earth are we doing in Link4Growth having an event in a barber's shop? But it was quite an interesting venue, and the owner of the venue was there. He doesn't open on a Mondays, but we were there. He's got a traditional 1920s style barbershop there with the very old American big old barber chairs, and it's all themed around the 1920s. And he's got like a bar there, and he's got a TV in the room and some very old leather chairs, and the atmosphere was really, really good, and that was it's just a very unusual venue. But Damien, he sort of works just around the corner from there, so he sort of identified this as a bit of a quirky venue, and but it worked really well. It really worked well. So that I mean, there's been so many things. Like, to be honest, I really can't remember all of them. I'll come on to some of the other things that happen a bit later on in the show. But there's we've had some interesting things going on in September.
Yeah, what I'm finding, and when I talk to Alex and the other DLs as well, is there's more and more quirky and different and unique venues coming on board, and I love that because normal business networking always tends to be in sort of boring places. But with this and with Link4Growth, and I mean, I've seen some of the pictures of that barber shop, and when he does a link for drinks, I really would like to go up there and look at that because I think it is absolutely amazing that it's a really unique building. And I think one of the things that Link4Growth district leaders are really good at identifying is something different that is a local venue. So that not just going out and looking for the norm, they're actually going out and they're looking for something different, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've got the one at the Paradise Wildlife Park, which overlooks the lion enclosure. And in the summer, when you're on the veranda, yeah, you can go outside onto the sort of veranda trellising sort of area, and it's just a really interesting place. And I mean, there are other venues as well, like the one in Hadley, the other side of London. That's in the Salvation Army tea rooms, and all the people that are serving there are people who are you know, have difficulty learning and stuff like that, and they're all working in there. And actually, in one corner is the half of the Olympic BMX track that they used in the Olympics, which goes through their ground. So it's just, and it overlooks the estuary there, and it's just a really fabulous venue. And I know there's, like, amongst DLs, there's this little bit of a competition now about who can get the most, you know, like the most amazing venues. I know Nikki's just picked up a venue which is a redeveloped water sports sort of place just outside Peterborough. I can't remember the name of it now, but it is when I went up there the other day for another event, and we stopped by there for lunch, and it's a fantastic venue. I mean, it's just amazing, really nice new building, but with a fantastic view over the lake there. So some great venues.
Yeah, exactly. And look out for more great venues coming on board as well. So, how about, has there been any pins awarded this month?
Well, before I get onto the pins, I want to just talk about just some of the districts that are going to be expanding that I've kind of heard about, because there's quite a lot going on here, and people might want to jump in and sort of get involved in this. But there's a huge amount happening in London at the moment. I know that the two district leaders that are responsible for Hillingdon and Ealing are basically ramping up the amount of events that are running in their two respective districts. So there's a lot going on. There's a launch of an event down at Heathrow shortly. I know there's a drinks event coming up. There's another luncheon happening. So, and there's a breakfast event starting. So there's a lot happening in London right now, and that's a real testimony to Deepa's, you know, like re-engaging and getting back in there and really putting in a massive effort on growing the London districts, because it's a huge job down there. So, so there's loads going on in London if you want to get involved in that. In South West Herts, there's possibly, well, there's definitely 5 new events happening in just South West Herts over the next month or two, with another 2 likely to come on stream in January. So although Alex has stepped away, not stepped away, but had to kind of refocus on his university course, there is no lack of action in South West Herts. Stroud and Gloucester area is starting to move now. I know that we've sort of reworked the borders, the boundaries for the districts in the Cambridgeshire and Lincolnshire district, and there are some Spalding is already in Lincolnshire. There's an event happening in Bourne which launches next month. No, not next month, this month, like Tuesday, and there's also talk of an event in Boston. So lots going on in Lincolnshire as well as we move up towards Nottingham. And then we've got good signs and good noises about Tyne and Wear and new events in Derby, which I'm hearing about. There's another event starting in South Wales with the promise of more, and, you know, some other things happening down there. Essex, Southend is starting, and talking to Paul about getting Colchester up and going. So, and also I had an inquiry last week from Portsmouth and South Hampshire. So that's something else that's going to be bubbling along. I'm hoping we're going to move it forward this year, but for an early launch in January or February. So loads happening. I mean, it's getting quite exciting out there.
Yeah, and it's kind of, as I'm listening to you there talk about the different areas and things that are coming up, it sounds like we almost have the whole of the UK covered now.
We're not. I mean, there are huge conurbations that we're not yet in. Like, and I know Jerry's got contacts here, but like Liverpool and Manchester, with that whole area, including places like, I don't know, Barnsley, is it around there as well, and that sort of area, down through to Crewe and coming down there towards Birmingham, Staffordshire. We haven't got anything there. The Black Country and all the West Country yet to be developed really. So, but I know that, you know, as we move through, you know, the tail end of this year, and as we start to really ramp up at the beginning of next year, we'll see just this acceleration process just continue and grow, because we still have a lot to cover. And there is, you know, I mean, in the Watford and surrounding area, I was talking to someone the other day about this. We will by Christmas have 17 events in an area which is not that big, but there'll be events most days, and it doesn't have to be big events. These are just opportunities for local people to talk to each other in a local coffee shop, a local independent place, and actually get people realising that there's a lot going on and that they can get to something. And once they get to something, they can plug in.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the thing, isn't it? A lot of people think, oh, you can't start an event there, there's going to be enough people, but it's not about how many people, it's just about spreading the word and making places available for local people to pop in and connect with each other.
Absolutely. I mean, absolute perfect example of that is not far away from where I am. There's a local college, West Herts College. You know, they've got a coffee shop there which is open to the public. It's quite a nice coffee shop. You know, it's not one of these places where you get a small coffee for £3. You know, you get a fish bowl for about £1.80. But it's in the college, and having a Link4Growth there with a banner opens up Link4Growth to a whole range of younger people that are walking past and going to the college. You know, we don't have something in a place that's so, if you like, open to the young people of Watford. So that would be a fantastic way of putting other types of people into what Link4Growth is about. So the venues are really important in that they give you access to different groups of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, are you ready to talk about pins yet?
I am now. Right, so all the district leaders have been allocated some pins now, and they've been busy passing them out to people that have been doing good work for a number of years in some cases. And in the Cambridgeshire district, Nikki has given pins out to Ben Hemp, Anne Hovell, Joan Richardson and Amelia Murphy, and each one of those people has been very active in the support of the growing of Link4Growth in the Cambridge district. Ben's been fantastically supportive when we did the L4G Expo. I think the L4G Mingle is a concept that was conceived between Nikki and Ben originally. So you know, Ben's done some really good work there, and he thoroughly deserves that. And Anne Havel has been a supporter of Link4Growth right from the very go, and she does a lot of the admin work for Nikki up there in terms of getting people onto the CRM system. So she's been a big supporter for Nikki. Joan Richardson has single-handedly got Ramsey on the map, and she's very attuned to what's going on in Ramsey and surrounding villages, and she's done a remarkable job there. So great to see her with a pin, and Amelia Murphy, who started things up in Ely with Anita, and Anita has subsequently moved on, but Amelia is there, and she's got a new team forming around her, and really looking like that's going to be going to go from strength to strength. So well done to Amelia in Cambridgeshire district. So that's those, and then up in the north, of course, Jerry's given out pins to Lisa Fennick, who's doing some amazing things down in Derby there, and her first event was awesome, and she's got loads of other stuff going on down there, including things to do with food cooperatives and stuff. So a very busy lady, but doing some amazing things with Link4Growth. D20man also, the district up in the north is a massive district which brings its own challenges, but Dee's got some really good contacts up there, and we're looking to see some great things up there. So well done to Dee. Damien, a long time in coming, Damien's first event, but he pulled it off. It was great. It was great to meet Damien, and there's a lot of people in Link4Growth know of Damien, but very few of us have actually met him. So it was really nice to go up there and actually meet the young man and put like a face to a name, as it were. But well done to him, and also to Jenny Braithwaite. Now, a lot of people won't know much about Jenny. She's up there on the it's not the furthest north now, I don't think, but it's right up there on the northwest. And Jenny's actually been, I'll come on to this a bit later, but she's becoming more active in the training and education platform as well, which is great because she is a trainer, an adult learning trainer. So people will be seeing a lot more of Jenny in the coming months. So that's it. That's pins, but some good activity. Oh, and well, there were some last month that were awarded, and Three Musketeers of in Chingford, Fiona Flaherty, Jane Walker, and Deborah Oakerby. They all got their pins. I don't know whether all of them have got their pins. I think Paul hadn't seen two of them, but anyway, they've now all got their pins. Doing great work down there.
Good stuff. It's really nice when people are recognised, and the pin is something. I haven't got mine on today. I forgot to put it on my jacket. But it looks nice as well, which is quite good, because sometimes people get awards for things and they're pretty ugly things, and it's like, oh, okay, I got that award, and they put them in a drawer somewhere. But a nice thing with the pins is they do actually look quite nice as well.
Yeah. I mean, Tony, who got those done, Tony Rook runs a promotional merchandising business down here in Bushy or Stanmore Way, and I'll come on to some more things we're doing, because there are other things in the pipeline there as well. But yeah, the pins are nice. I like them.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look. I think you've done, or you want to talk about charities and charity collaborations and what's happening there.
Yeah, there's a few things going on. There's a couple of events that I want to bring to people's attention, just to let them know how they went, because a lot of people will hear about these events going on, but they won't have been at them. So I just want to bring a couple of them to people's attention. The first one is the curry night that we had that was on the 8th of September, and it was set up by Alex. It was prompted as a result of something I mentioned a while back, and he just got on and did it, and it was a really good night. And I would encourage other people to consider doing something like that, because we are planning to do them bi-monthly. So as with always things within Link4Growth, there's no fixed rules. If you want to run something bi-monthly because it's a bit different to normal, then give it a go, see what happens. The thing is that the feedback and the information that comes back allows us to improve things all the time. So if it does work or it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. The fact is we did something and we got a result. Whether that result was what we wanted or not is another question, but we can improve it. So we were talking yesterday, for example, about the Sunday lunch concept, which hasn't been moved forward yet, but it's something that I think there will be enough interest for us to actually do. So that curry event went really well. And then the other event I want to mention specifically is the train. There was an event on a train called Helga last week up in the Neen Valley, I think it is, or Neen anyway, with which was an event that was put on by 3 groups of people. Link4Growth was one, the Peterborough CVS, Community Voluntary Sector, and also the Business in the Community. So 3 people got together to organise this train with 20 odd people from charities and 20 odd people from businesses, and we all sort of managed to squeeze into one carriage. And we went down 3 stops on the train, and each stop was a theme stop. People got out, mingled, networked, talking to each other, and then they got back on the train in different places so they could all talk to different people, and it worked really, really well. And the idea behind it was that it was the precursor to arranging a CSR luncheon in the Peterborough district, i.e. now we've got a substantial group of people who we can now ask to come along to and start the ball rolling with the lunch up there. So, and that was a really good event, and the train station, which is private now, it's all private, and it's a charity, and it's sort of funding itself. Amazing amount of money to keep these things running. I mean, they're just having, apparently, the Thomas the Tank Engine, the actual Thomas engine is based there. That's where it is. And it's away for a refit at the moment, which is going to take a year and cost $250,000. I mean, it's telephone numbers. I mean, because every piece has to be fabricated individually if it needs repairing. So, I mean, astronomical costs involved in those things. But anyway, it was a fascinating session. I did a video of it. I know whether you've seen that, but there is a video, and also awesome video, which is only 30 seconds, with some music in the background, which is a lot better than my voice droning on. But that was just done by Google, if you like, taking some pictures I took and a video I took, and they kind of mesh it together and turn it into something which is viewable. So if you're interested, have a look at that, because it's quite good fun.
So you said if you're interested to have a look at that, where can people have a look at it? You're not telling people where to actually find it, and it's a big world out there.
L4G Peterborough is the community that I posted it into. So go and have a search out on Google Plus Peterborough, and you'll see the post up there.
Awesome. It's not on Pinterest then?
I haven't put it on Pinterest. I mean, these things can be repurposed, but you know, I'll give it a month, and then I'll whack it on Pinterest or something.
Okay, great stuff. So that sort of moves us, because we're talking a little bit there about events that are happening that not everybody knows about or they've heard about and don't know any more details. But I know there's a lot of infrastructure developments happening as well. Tell people about that.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot going on, and I mean, I know that district leaders out there doing it are massively busy. There's so many things going on, but there are also equally massive things going on behind the scenes in order to get us into a position with Link4Growth where we can go through this expansion program that we're looking to do. And by the end of next year, we're looking to be running somewhere in the region of 400 to 600 events a month. Now, that requires a different kind of infrastructure. It doesn't mean what we've got doesn't work, but it's going to require us to scale and build in new things to enable us to deliver on what we're going to have to do. So the education platform is kind of coming to fruition now. We've had changes in the education team. Clearly, you come on board, Carol, to sort of mastermind that. But we've had changes because we need to be able to deliver to scale, which means we need to be able to do that through online technologies. And in line with that, what has happened is that we're going to need a core group of trainers that can deliver. Now, Deepa has got a massive amount of work to do in the district building in London, and felt that it was to be doing training on a regular basis was going to compromise her ability to deliver on those districts. So amazing thanks, really, and huge thanks to to Deepa for what she's done there, because without her we wouldn't have really got the whole concept of training and education in Link4Growth off the ground in the first place. So tremendous thanks to her. But we've now got to reorganise ourselves, and as Deepa is kind of stepping into doing that role in the district of building in London, she's got 7 districts there to build. Jenny, fortunately, up in the north there, has come on board, and she's now and she's an adult learning trainer, so she's now stepping up to do some of the training. I know you've been working quite hard with her over the recent month or so, helping her to kind of get the tutor-led training concept with what we've got already in terms of material meshed together so that we can start rolling this out really, really properly from the end of the month. So all of this is going on, and it's meant that we've had to look at the Eventbrite pages, we've had to look at the way we're delivering workshops through Eventbrite, we've set up a new Eventbrite system, we're currently building Moodle, so how does that work with what we've got? The Link4Skills website's been put together. It just goes on and on and on. There's so much stuff going on, and we're busy out there in the front-facing area, but God, if people knew what was going on behind the scenes, they'd heart attack. There's so much stuff going on, and I know that you're off, Carol, shortly to sort your new accommodation out in other climes. But you know, it's been a massively busy month, hasn't it?
It has been. Where the education platform is concerned, yes. I mean, I feel like I'm absolutely cream crackered, to be quite honest with you. There's so much that people don't see. What you see on the front end is often, and it's the same with anything in life, it's the same with any business, it's the same with any family. You see the front-facing part and you just don't get all the bits or see all of the bits and how the jigsaw puzzle is being built in the background. And it's a bit like building foundations, and that's what we're doing now with the new version of the Link4Skills platform. And it is so much work to bring it all together and make sure that it is absolutely how it should be, so that we can expand and grow in the future and bring a lot more education to people.
Yeah, and I mean, there are people out there now who are expressing an interest in bringing their knowledge into this program, because like with all these things, it started off with a vision, which is that Link4Growth exists to help the people in Link4Growth share their knowledge, wisdom, experiences, education, all the things that they've done over the years that they've been out there in business or whatever, and be able to pass that knowledge on to people who also want to participate in those things. Without an open source ability for people to say, do you know what, I've got knowledge, I want to share that, who wants it, and to have a wide network which basically allows people to latch on to the people that have got the knowledge and actually learn from those people. Without something like this, you can't do it. It's just, you know, there's people out there with the knowledge, there's people out there who want the knowledge, and they can't find each other. They're just out there like wandering around thinking, where on earth can I get this? There are people out there with exactly that knowledge who are now able, through Link4Growth, Link4Skills, an open source platform that we're building, able to share all that knowledge with the people that need it. And that was always a vision of what we were doing, and every single month we're stepping closer to being able to deliver that, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it certainly is, and there's lots of other things going on there where we can make sure that everything that is, all that knowledge, you know, because some people are already trainers. They're not online trainers necessarily. Some are online trainers, some are not. And we're putting things in place as well where we can actually make sure that they can take that knowledge, whether they're already a trainer or maybe there's somebody who has the knowledge who would love to give it to other people, but they don't know how to train because they're not trainers. And we're going to be able to actually take them through a program that we're creating in the background to make sure that everybody can actually deliver that knowledge confidently, and those that want to become trainers who before have said, well, I'd love to, but I don't know how, they're going to be able to do that as well. So we're really looking at all the different facets of how to help not only the people who are looking for the skills and not only the people who are already trainers, but also people who have loads of skills and don't know how to train, but they would like to. So we're trying to cover everything with all of this.
Yeah, as I say, it was a vision to, you know, enable everybody in the country to grow, And if you can bring the people with the skills and the people who want those skills together in a very easy way, so that they can pick up that knowledge, then it really is. It really is a major component of what we set out to do at the start. So it's great to see it just sort of taking shape now.
Yeah, exactly. And that sort of leads us on as well, because the other thing that's taking shape are the community TV shows. So tell us a little bit more about those and what's going to be launching.
Yeah, I mean, as we grow grow the number of districts, and as we grow, right across the country, the amount of things that district leaders have at their disposal to assist them in taking their district forward is growing all the time too. And community TV is one of these things. It's not everybody's. It's not everybody's desire to be in front of a camera and to deliver stuff. It's not, and we have to recognise that, although that needs to be delivered in a district, it's often somebody that comes up out of the woodwork that might maybe want to start that and get that off the ground. And we've got a couple of districts now that are beginning to be quite mature in the fact that they've been doing them for a while. So the South West Hearts one with Alex, he's starting to really sort of get the hang of these things, and he's helping other district leaders with theirs. And Jerry has been doing hers now for, I don't know, 6 months or so. So she's starting to sort of get confident with the platform. And by doing these things, of course, other district leaders say, well, why can't we get out that going in our district? And I know that Lisa's got an interesting idea. Lisa's in Derbyshire, Lisa Fennick, involving some of her more older children in delivering almost like it's not really it's a bit like breakfast where you've got more than one person doing the shows. You've got co-hosts doing it, and I think that, I have no idea whether that's a great idea or not a great idea. But what I do know is it's an idea, and let's see how it works. But I think it'd be fantastic. It's a way of involving younger people. I know that it will go out there, and other young people may be inspired by that, and we might see that rolling the L4G youth program forward quicker. Who knows where it could go? But I like the idea that people are trying things. I like the idea they're trying new things. And really, what's important about Link4Growth is we have to stay flexible. We have to allow this thing to become whatever it is the communities want it to be, because it's not down to somebody to make rules up so the rules, people have to follow this thing. It's about allowing these communities to be what they really are, which is local, specific communities built up around whatever it was, whether it be a set of hills or an industry type or a river, or everywhere's different. And I think it's great. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing that show, and I know that it'll inspire others. I think there's another. I think the Chingford ladies, I mentioned them earlier. I think they're now talking about getting a TV show up and running. So that I'm looking forward to seeing that one materialise as well, and I'm sure others will happen over the coming months as well. So.
Yeah, and it's also a good way of the local areas, like you say. Not everybody wants to sit in front of a camera. Not everybody feels comfortable, and it's not about making people who don't feel comfortable get in front of a camera. But there will be somebody in every district, and if you can hear a slight echo, anybody, that's just sort of crept in on us. Chris, I don't know if you can hear when I'm talking, or if you can move your speaker or your microphone away from your speaker. It's gone again now. It seems to kick in every now and again. There I can hear a real echo. So if you did hear a big echo, just excuse that, it's technology. But yeah, the thing is, there will be somebody in every district who potentially would love to be on a TV and can then start to work with the district leaders and create that district's community TV without having to be a district leader. And it's not district leaders, you have to run your shows. It's about who can we identify in our own local area that would love to do this, so that we can actually get more news out there, more updates and more information, because as Chris is now doing this show every month with myself at the moment, but we can't bring the information about every single event, every single person, every single collaboration, otherwise we would be here for a whole day. So it's important that the districts start to look, and the people in the districts start to think about, well, actually, I know somebody who would love to do that, and introduce them.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other things that I've talked about, the multiple sort of tool set really that a district leader has. One of the other things that we can implement is a local blog. So if people, excuse me, if people are not don't want to start with the TV, excuse me, they can start with the blog. Now the blog is a district blog. Now that could be, if it's a big district, it could be split into towns, so there's a blog for each town. But that gives us the ability to start reporting on what's going on in the community and Link4Growth, what's going on locally in the written word. And there are going to be people out there that like writing, have written for as a journalist or written for a newspaper or something, and are quite confident in that medium. So we can start to get those people to participate and help build the community information, if you like, channel, as it were, through that, through writing as well. And I know that I've been working with Alex putting together the calendar for the South West Herts district because I'm particularly interested in that, and that's now gone on the blog, and we populated it with all the local Link4Growth events, of course, but we can also put on their charity events, we can also put on their other things which are going on in the community. And once people start to realise there's this central calendar which has got everything on it that's going on locally, you'll start bringing people to the Link4Growth blog for South West Herts and start to get that message out there about Link4Growth to another group of people, which is what it's all about.
Yeah, and one of the great things with the blog, we're using Blogger for those blogs, and the great thing is that it links straight into Google+, so it can be linked with the district's Google+ page. It can also have links back to the main website and everywhere else. And like you say, the calendar is being built in. You can also build in the link for skills education as a calendar in a sidebar. And what I'm doing on one of the ones that I'm drafting up with Jerry is we're actually creating a page for the TV shows as well. So it doesn't really matter what people are doing in the area. They can all be put into that blog interface because it's like a website, and links back out again for people to really easily find exactly what they're looking for in their area.
Yeah, I'm quite excited by that because it's almost like a website for the districts. So we've got the central Link4Growth website, but here we've got the ability to have 70 plus other websites which are local content type websites, and actually it would be much more than 70 because like if you take the Cambridgeshire district, there should be one for Cambridge itself, and there should be one for Peterborough, and maybe others as well, because they're two such separate places, even though they're within the one county. They both warrant their own set of information, because somebody in Cambridge is not going to go to a community event in Peterborough necessarily, but they might want to know what else is going on in Cambridge. So, no, I think they're very exciting. I think it's and putting the community TV thing through those platforms as well. Super idea, yeah, brilliant.
Good stuff. So, tell us about the buy local.
Right. Oh, yeah. So now, of course, I've come to the end of my first year of not using supermarkets, and it was only in September actually I suddenly realised actually it's nearly a year I've been doing this. So my last shop in Asda's was quarter to midnight on the 30th of September last year, and I must confess, it was with some trepidation that I was almost like saying cheerio to an old friend, really, because you can get everything in those shops, and then suddenly you realise you're not going to be able to go there again. It's like, where on earth do I get some of this stuff I've been buying? And it's been a really interesting year. And it was interesting. I was down at the Watford Market yesterday, and it was their last day in the market because they're moving up the road a little bit, and they're opening on Friday in the new location. And there's a lady there who I've been buying cheese off, and she runs a deli there, and she's not moving initially up the road because she couldn't agree with them, the position of the particular unit that she wanted. And she turned around and said, look, because it's a year I've known her now. And in the early days of that relationship, it was very formal, like, what do you want? Well, I want some cheese, okay, how much do you want, blah, blah, blah. But now it's actually a friendship, and it's grown like that and there are loads of new friends I've made in Watford who I would never have ever met had I stuck going into the supermarkets. And you can't buy this. You can't buy these connections and these relationships. And they run quite strong now, and they start off just being a trading relationship, but in the end it becomes much more than that. And it's made a massive difference to my life, and not in monetary terms particularly, or in other, but it has in terms of quality of the food I've been eating, because I've been cooking all the food myself. I've been buying it all fresh. I've not been eating any pre-processed stuff. So ultimately, you are enjoying a much healthier lifestyle by default, but you get a lot more interaction, and it's that interaction that you wouldn't consider if you were going to stop using supermarkets. And I mean, okay, it's a bit radical to stop using supermarkets entirely, and of course we don't have to do that. If all we did was spend £10 with local traders a week rather than spend all our money in supermarkets, it would make a massive difference to the local economy. And I know Jerry was talking about that on her show yesterday, not yesterday, on Friday. But it's true. But it does a lot more than that too. It knits the community together, which is something that's been pulled apart and destroyed by supermarkets pretty much. And that's sad. We've got to rekindle that, and that's really what that was all about. And having had a conversation with a few people about it, it's almost like, well, we could probably put I was thinking about doing a workshop on this, by the way, but I don't probably think it needs to be a workshop. But how can you start getting people to think about buying local in an area? And we probably need some kind of resource to help people do that, and start to bring that, accelerate that process, because I've learned a lot in a year, and it's no good stuck in my head.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those things you were saying there, it's sort of, I'm sitting here and it's reminding me, not that I was around in those days, but it's reminding me of how local used to be. People, and when I went to Turkey a few years ago with my father, and every shop he went past, they would invite you in, whether it was a jeweller's shop or a food shop, it didn't matter the type of shop, but you actually got invited in, and they would make you apple tea, and you would sit having a chat whilst you were doing your shopping. Well, that's what used to happen in the UK years and years and years ago. People would stop by and have a chat, and then it sort of wore off because not as many local people, and because of the supermarkets. So this is like bringing us back ground again to let's really engage with our community. And I think there's a lot of things we can do. You've got things where the shops can actually work together better, the local shops. If one person sells one thing and then there's another shop that sells something that's complementary, they could create partnerships. They could have windows say that they are part of the Buy Local campaign. Potentially they could have loyalty offerings for people that start to buy local. There could be expos arranged just for local things. There's so much done with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've built a framework within, and this is one of the great things, of course, with Link4Growth, is that you're basically rebuilding a nationwide network, and you're rebuilding all these connections locally. And once you've built those communities, you can just put all these ideas through those communities, because the networks already exist, and people are receptive to the fact that they want to rebuild communities, support and grow their local communities. So, this is just one idea. There'll be loads of ideas that come out, and they can just be all dropped in, and where where the idea works, where the idea is good, and where someone wants to drive it. A good idea that started in Lancaster can be easily done in Gloucestershire, or done in Devon, or can be done in home counties. It's just having that capability to put the ideas into a place where other people can easily pick them up and run with them.
Yeah, and of course with buy local, we've got that old echo again, Chris. It's coming from you.
I've not changed anything here.
I know, it comes in and out, and now you've moved, and now it's gone again. Good stuff. And one of the other things, of course, is that it's not just about, it doesn't just have to be this is done offline, because also in the background that we're not going to talk about yet, but there is the potential for buy local to be found online, for people to start to find out where these local shops are without actually having to traipse around a city or a town or wherever, that they'll be able to go to a resource and say, right, I'm going to this town, or I live in this town, where's all my local shops? Where do I find the local hardmonger? Where do I find the local food shops? So that's just a little sort of, just a little hint.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that whole thing, and of course I continue with my program. It's not a year; it was a life decision, and I just continue with it. So I'm into year 2.
Good stuff.
Now that brings me nicely onto another thing that we're initiating, which I have mentioned it in passing out there, but not everyone will know this. But the chap that did the pins for us, he runs a promotional merchandising business. So earlier in the week, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, because I basically want a Link4Growth mug, right? So people say I'm a Link4Growth mug, but anyway, I want a mug. So what I did was I had a chat with him earlier in the week, and I said, look, why don't we come up with 20 or so products from a sort of everyday type of things that people might want, which are Link4Growth branded. So what he's going to do now is he's gone away to come up with some ideas, key rings, pens, those kinds of things, mugs and stuff like that, so that we can have basically an online merchandise shop which people can, if they want to, can buy those things. So that's coming. I'm quite excited about it, because I like those branded type things, and certainly I need a mug, and maybe some stickers for the car. I don't know, those kinds of things, but we'll see. But that's quite interesting, and I haven't quite worked out yet where we're going to put it, whether it's going to be, because the website is a WordPress site, we could put that directly onto the website, or we could think, well, a little bit more longer term, big picture, and say, well, there might be other things that could be delivered through a shop platform in the future. So let's not build restricted, let's build opportunity, and create something which is kind of, we can get to through the website, a bit like the forum, and a bit like the education platform, but it sits there as a channel, if you like, for people that offer shopping of some description. But we'll see.
Yeah, as you were talking about that, my brain was firing off all sorts of things that would fit in with that are not just to do with the branded products, but also about books and cookery. And one of the things that came in, I was thinking, what about an apron to go with the cookery book that's being written? There is so much potential with an online web store, that it can start small, start with the smaller bits, and then it can actually be expanded, and it would be something that wouldn't be just Link4Skills is selling or offering such and such, but it would be something that in the future could be built out, that all of the subscribers have a way in to offer things back out. Potentially.
Like I say, it's it will take a life of its own, I'm sure, but as long as, and like all these things, as long as the underlying principles and ethics of Link4Growth are maintained throughout everything that we do, in that no one gets any preferential treatment, we're all here, we're all part of it, and we're all treated equally, then I'm happy for people to come up with ideas and suggestions which kind of fit in with that. So, brilliant. So that's exciting stuff. And you mentioned briefly there about books and stuff. Now, the books are actually out there now in the community, so the first 100 books arrived, and I've got 6, I think, left. They've all gone out, so I've got another 100 coming this coming week. So I'll be replenished, and so get out there and make it happen with those books, because once people read it, they'll understand what Link4Growth is all about.
And I think there's something else about the book.
Yeah.
New, isn't it?
There is an audio book. So the audio version of it, it's not been officially released yet, but it's been done by your good self in the background, and I do have a link to download it. I always seem to be the last to actually take up these things and do anything with them, but I will download it as promised after this show, and we'll put it on my mobile devices so I can listen to it while I'm driving about. I'm going to be in the car for an hour tomorrow morning, going about 12 miles to get to Greenford breakfast, so a good opportunity for me to listen to it then. So yeah, so thanks for doing that, and I will definitely be giving you my view. I know it's not been easy to do, actually, because where you say things like diagrams above or in the next, or stuff like that, it's like doesn't quite translate very well to an audio book. So.
Yeah, you have to make tweaks when you're taking a written book and you're turning it into an audio book, and you have to remember that, and you're reading it, and then you say something and you think, that doesn't fit. Okay, pause that. Let's do another bit. And there's lots of editing, and there's so much stuff to do, and put it into a format where it sort of works for people listening, because you also, with a book, you have your pages at the, like each of the chapters has a front page. Well, you don't have a front page with audio, so you have to work out how to split it nicely so that people have a break and don't get this voice all the way through. So it was quite a lot of challenge, a lot of hard work, but I think it's going to be a really great resource for people, because not everybody does read books, and we have to think about this. Some people don't like reading books. Other people are not able to read books. So it's going to give that an extra way of people actually taking in the information. I was going to say read the book, but it will be listening to the book. And I think that's something for anybody else that's out there that actually does write books. It's also something for you to potentially consider, because we have books and we take it for granted that people buy books. But remember, there are a lot of people that need the audiobooks as well.
Yeah, so I'm quite looking forward to listening to that and seeing how it translates to audio. So yeah. Oh, before I come on to some things about competition winners, I need to go back and just talk a bit about some charities that we've been supporting, because Link4Growth is about community, and of course community consists of everything that happens in the community, and that's not just charities either, that's loads of good causes that are going on out there. And I want to just bring in this show a few things to light, and one of them is the plight of a family up in Redcar, the Huckins family, who have been pretty much struck down by Lyme disease. Now, I don't know much about Lyme disease, but I do know that if you've been infected by it, basically it's a bite from a tick, and if you've been infected for years and years and years, which is the case in this situation, the illness is very debilitating, but it's not recognised by the health service. So your medication and how you're treated for it basically has to come out of your own pocket, pretty much. So Tonya Nixon and Jerry and a whole raft of other people that are in Redcar are getting behind this to raise the awareness of it and raise the profile of it. Ultimately maybe to get the rules changed so that people can have medication, because it's a pretty grim disease, and they've pretty much lost everything as a result of it. So that's I just wanted to mention that, because I think it's a really important thing, and you'll see loads of stuff from Tonya and Jerry and others about that. Do reshare it and get the word out there, because as a network we have, you know, we have the ability to do that, and we should support it because it is really important, that one.
I think, so, if I can just come in on that one, Chris, I think the other really amazing thing with, if people see what is happening, see all the hard work that Tonya and Jerry and people up in that area are doing, and how the community is coming together to support a local family or a local charity if it was a charity. And these are the sorts of things that can actually be spread out across the nation, because every area, every local community will have multiple small charities or multiple good causes, and there's lots of really sort of interesting and innovative things and ways that that family are being helped locally with the help of Link4Growth people as well, that other people across the country could look at and say, hey, yeah, that, because this isn't about a national thing, this is about local. So they can look and say, oh gosh, we never thought about that, we could do that. And there might also be people out there who have ideas of other things that people in their local communities can do to help the local people, which is a really great cause. So this is about watch what's going on up there and how that family is being helped. You might be able to pick some of those things up and help somebody or a charity in your area. But also, if you have more ideas of how to help, do get in touch with Jerry and Tonya up north and give them your ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're also supporting the Mind charity up there. We've got an afternoon tea that Jerry is running in their charity shop in the high street there, which is great. You know, I mean, it's a great charity, and so that's just a couple of examples. I know there's a charity called Family Voice in Peterborough that we work with there, and we support them. But closer to home, there's a couple of things that have happened in this neck of the woods. One of them is the Michael Green Foundation, and yeah, have a look at how they're being supported down in the Southwest Hearts by Alex, because there's a good connection there. We went along to their quiz night the other night. They raised £8,000 for charity on the one evening, which was phenomenal. They gave £10,000 to the local hospital here to assist with the diabetes centre, which is what that charity is all about. But also, we had the Watford Women's Centre did their photographic competition that was run in conjunction with Link4Growth. So it's all about the charity winning, Link4Growth getting exposure, and the community winning. So everybody wins who participates in these things. And there's some great ideas out there. And, you know, name check for Diane Richardson, who comes up with some really interesting and innovative ideas, and sort of gradually sort of helping Diane get more involved with Link4Growth, because, you know, you can't have too many ideas. You know, you just can't have too many ideas. So yeah, so there's some of the charities that we've been working alongside, and it's a big thing for Link4Growth to be part of that. And I've been very busy myself going around supporting local charities. In fact, last weekend I walked this Shine Walk, which was a marathon in London. Many people in Link4Growth will know that I did that. Ended up being closer to 30 miles and 26 miles. Don't know what went wrong, but we ended up absolutely, completely destroyed at the end of this walk. Fortunately, I've recovered.
Which is good stuff. So yeah. You were going to talk about competitions.
Yes. There's a couple of competitions that were rumbling along on the forum. One of them wasn't really very well supported, which was a selfie competition, which I think was in September. I think it might have even been in August, actually. But anyway, Paul Violet has won that. I'm going to wait until he tells me that he's watched this and he's realised he's won. So he's going to have to watch this. But the other one was, I put a competition out and it kind of rumbled on and on and on, because which was which district had developed their Google Plus community the best. And without really any doubt, the one that's like our flagship really is the Watford one. So congratulations to Alex, and also for the other people that he's invited along, which is Diane Richardson, Tanya Clark, and Catherine Baldwin, all of whom have been very instrumental in helping us to get that community really moving along quite nicely. So well done to them, and it's dinner out in a local restaurant with those guys. I think it's a week tomorrow, so that'll be good.
Sounds like good stuff going on, and of course people can also look at and when there is a competition or there's something that you mentioned, go over and look at these things, because that will give you ideas of how you can build your own.
Yeah, absolutely right. And yeah, they're a bit of fun, you know, but yeah, you can have those things at the district level. Whatever we're doing nationally will be happening at the district level. Yeah, 12 months from now, what we're doing nationally will be represented in each district. It's just phenomenal how that, but it's got to be like that, you know. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. And you know, every year, what we were like nationally has been going down to the best district level, and next year will be no exception. So, look what we're doing, and bring these ideas into the districts too.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us, are there any specific new initiatives that you want to share? Whilst we're talking about, well, this is new ideas and things like that, it fits really nicely to talk about new initiatives.
Well, one of the things I kind of dawned on me as I've been sort of driving around and doing a lot of driving around is that we're trying to build community. We're trying to get content, pictures, video about what's going on in towns up into these communities on Google Plus, because it's when you start to do that, you start to get buy-in, if you like, from local people. Because, oh, I could do that. I could take a picture. I can. So one of the things I want to do is I want to get round and visit and take pictures and video of all towns in the UK with 8,000 people or more, because if I take it down any larger than that, it'd be too many. So, and in order to make that easy for me to be able to report in on what's going on, I thought, well, hang on a minute, Google Glass. I thought, Google Glass, they've got an Explorer program. This is exploring the whole country. This is an interesting and different challenge that I would like to bring to life, because it will support Link4Growth. It will help build communities in places that we're not. It's innovative in terms of its use of technology. It gives a reason to have glasses, because I don't get involved in technologies for technology's sake. It's what can you do with that technology that really appeals to me. So I went off and I got these glasses. So here I am with Google Glasses, you see. So and they're really quite amazing. I managed to get the orange ones, which are sort of Link4Growth colours, as it were. So and I'm taking them around to the events that that I go to, because not everybody's had the chance so far to see these things, and people think they're a bit of a gimmick sometimes. People think, oh, it's just technology for technology's sake, but actually when people have the opportunity to at least try them and use them, they actually, hang on a minute, these are quite useful, they are quite handy, and they'll come down in price and they'll become more popular. But one of the biggest things that I've heard so far is that people are wary of them. They find them invasive. They find them they find them a bit out there, and they don't want to be perhaps have pictures taken they didn't know about, or video taken that they don't know about. So I'm very wary of that kind of publicity that's been going out there so far. And I never wear them into an event. I'll get them out if people want to find out a little bit more about them, show them how to use them, and maybe give them a chance to use them themselves. And actually, once people have tried them, they say, actually, this is right. And you get over that hurdle of walking in looking a bit like a Cyberman. That's a bit that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. And I've taken some interest. Like yesterday, and I'll put this up later today. Yesterday, on the last day of the Watford market, I just walked around the market with the glasses on, because there's never going to be another opportunity to do that. That was the last time, and no one has walked around that market with Google Glasses, and nobody. But now, if you want to know what that market I've been banging on about for a year, you can watch the video.
Yeah, and I think one of the things you said there about this, there is a little bit of distrust with people saying, oh, I don't want people taking pictures or videos. But actually, that's happening with every mobile phone that's in everybody's pockets. People, it's just not so visible, as in people are not thinking about it. With the glass, they're thinking about it. But there is so much really good stuff being done with Google Glass as well. I mean, I love your concept and your idea of going around to all of the towns in the UK. But there's also people out there, because one of the things you can do with Google Glass is you can have Glass on and you can be videoing something, and that can actually be live streamed. So it's not a hangout, it's through Google Glass, and it can be live streamed to participants. And there are people out there who are using Google Glass to actually take disabled people out and explore the world, the people who cannot physically leave the house, who can't go out and do these things, and they're actually using Google Glass to go out, and they turn the glass on, and the people can be at home, or if they're in hospital, wherever they are, they can experience those things through the eyes of the person who's actually wearing the glass. So that, to me, that's one of the really exciting things about Google Glass, is how it can open the world up for so many more people.
Mm.
And I want some, but I haven't got any yet. I want some.
So yeah, so it's been a really interesting month. There's been so much going on. This month looks like it's going to be just as exhilarating, to be honest. There's no let up in the move forward. So no, it's just fantastic. Brilliant to be able to be part of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I know that feeling as well. So hopefully, well, I say hopefully, it's been really interesting. We've covered so much, but we have been on here quite a long time. So I think we probably need to say, well, that's about it for this time, and let's come back next time.
Yep, absolutely. So, and next time, because I am going to sort it, I'm going to sort my internet out. So hopefully, definitely, I'm going to sort it by next month, because I have to do it, and I'm going to do it tomorrow afternoon. There you go, you heard it here first.
Right, we're going to hold you to that, Chris, because this is one of the most painful experiences ever. There's so much good stuff. There's so many interesting things that you share, but the quality is so bad. So I'm really looking forward to finally being on a live hangout with you with absolutely great audio and great video.
Good stuff. So that's bye for me. I'll see you all again next month.
And I will see you whenever I see you, because I pop up all over the place.
Have a good trip.
And if anyone's wondering why we haven't gone, that's it. Just a quick tip for anybody that uses Google Hangouts. Apparently, when you have the camera app switched on, you lose your stop broadcast button. You have to switch the camera app off to get back to your stop broadcast. So we'll see you next time.